Hello, Capricorn. My name is Kristen Simone Hansen, and welcome to Sea Goat Secrets. This je ne sais quoi. Okay, so Capricorn, this is your July reading for love and relationships and family. There's a lot going on in July in terms of these topics, I guess this topic. And I kind of was stating before that I want to break these readings down and cut the general readings into three, where the first one was, I guess, more all-encompassing general reading, but it was more about you, yourself, and your personal journey. This, again, is about love, relationships, family, and the third one is going to be about career and finances. You guys can let me know in the comments if you like this system where I pretty much break the monthly readings into three, so that it's easier for you to follow, resort back to when you need it, and that compartmentalization is really good for the Capricorn brain in terms of organization and the ability to digest things in different parts so you're not super overwhelmed by one thing, and you can get as many details as possible for the month. So yeah, let me know in the comments how you feel about it, but let's get started. So your closet for July is being cleaned out, especially when Venus goes retrograde, and there's going to be a lot of comebacks. So Venus going retrograde in July is kind of like Mercury retrograde on steroids in a way, because it's not to say that all of us are going to be, or all of us with seagoat placements are going to be experiencing these major comebacks and reconciliations, exes from 1,000 years ago, family members that we have been estranged from. We are, for the most part, all going to have that experience, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be literal. Some of us can just have these memories come up as to the front and center. So it could be relationships that you haven't even dealt with in God knows how long, coming to the center for you to revisit, dissect, and revive yourself from. So it's not always going to be the literal person showing up, but the relationship, the experience, revisiting, sifting through in order to end the karma of it by the time Venus exits Venus in Leo in retrograde. And just in general, when September, I think it's in the beginning of September, when Venus leaves Leo in general, which is out of your 8th house. So once it gets out of your 8th house, out of Leo, you're in a whole nother world. A lot of the things that you're going through with this summer are cleaning out this closet and finalizing this karma, really, especially pertaining to these relationships. So that's one thing to really be aware of in July, is when the end of the month happens and that Venus retrograde happens, people coming out of the woodworks, or memories coming up to be revisited, and going easy with yourself, and again, being kind to yourself and trying to be open and receptive to others, whoever comes back and circles back around. If they deserve some kind of conversation, maybe try giving it, but making sure you're keeping yourself together and centered. Don't get washed away, and some of these people could be returning for good reasons, but we'll dive deeper into that. 8th house matters are going deep. There's a lot going on, yes, and that's why I've been emphasizing you guys being as gentle as you can with yourselves, because there's a lot going on in the subconscious. For some of you, it's the subconscious. The others of you, it is literal. So family relationships being strained right now, romantic relationships being strained right now, work relationships being strained. And that is if you're in those environments or around those relationships that need to be eradicated, meaning if you have not taken this fast from, I think it started with the Scorpio moon transit last May. So if you did not take the hint back then and began that process of expelling whatever relationships did not serve, then this is your last chance. So the relationships that should have left either last Scorpio moon transit or this Scorpio moon transit. This is pretty much the last leg, and anything that must go will go, and the universe is going to rip them from you. The pressure is going to be on, and there is an awareness that Capricorn is having of who their enemies are and who does not wish them well. And again, if you're not literally facing that, if you have the courage to disconnect from certain people, the memories of what it is that you experienced is coming up to the surface. You're revisiting them, you're remembering them. It's traumatic, it's painful, but it's here to get you to push yourself out of whatever bounds you were in those relationships, in connections, career moments, and different things like that. I can say for myself, in my seagoat placements, a lot of these things are in my subconscious because I did have the courage to disconnect from a lot of different things, but I'm remembering them. So I'm like fighting like these demons in my head, right? Like fighting off memories and perceptions. And it's good because what is coming out on the other side is me revived, right? Me rescuing myself. If I was bullied by someone, I'm rescuing myself from the feeling of being bullied, meaning that part of me that could be victimized is now being broken down, and outside of it is a healed individual that would make it so that that would never happen again. So that's a part of why this is going on. Either way, it's to save you from yourself and whatever difficulties or abuse that you could be experiencing, whether subconsciously or literally, okay? And that's the 8th house, and that's what's going on in terms of this great sweep. The retrograde is going to reveal everything you need to know, good or bad. So if you are just getting involved with someone, if you have just started dating someone, when the retrograde comes into front and center, I don't suggest, I mean, there is kind of that like stereotype that it is unlucky and to get involved or finalize your relationship or finalize your marriage not finalize your marriage, but I guess get married during a Venus in retrograde. To each its own. I think we all have the power to transcend all of things, of course. But if you are dating someone, I wouldn't necessarily say to put the committal title on things when Venus is in retrograde. I would say to try to prolong it as much as you can until it gets out, which is in September. But you will be understanding a lot about your relationship. So the great thing is the retrograde can strengthen the healthy relationship. So you know your bond is healthier when the retrograde comes in, and there may be conflicts and there may be difficulty. Secrets coming to the surface, you're going to really get a full understanding of who it is that you are dealing with. Your partner, even if you guys have been together for a long time, you're going to know them or understand them. Secrets being revealed, as I said. There's a depth of closeness that's going to be developed because that retrograde is going to bring everything to the surface. And if you are just starting to date, that can really bring in such a deep and beautiful connection with someone that is healthy for you. Whereas normally that kind of intensity and connection is something that Capricorn craves, but usually it takes like a good amount of time for people to open up and feel more comfortable and safe with each other to kind of dive into that 8th house stuff, that trauma and all of those things, or maybe their quirks or that deeper love, that deeper emotion. But with the retrograde, that can really skyrocket. So where maybe you would have realized that you loved this person, maybe on average 4 months from now, the retrograde can make it so that you have a hyper awareness of it much sooner, and all of your inhibitions can be released, and that love can really form in such a deep and honest and really beautiful and sacred way because of those lines being blurred, right? And so there's nothing left but that intensity, that closeness, which is really good. Now, if the relationship is unhealthy, you're in for it. And this is all kinds of relationships, but yes, you're in for it as in you might find out about infidelity, you might find out about secret children, you could find out about hidden finances. Everything that can ruin a relationship is going to come to the surface. And if you guys just blatantly do not belong together, that is going to become very, very obvious during the retrograde. And if you want to continue and evolve through it, again, a great thing that you can do with the retrograde, going into therapy, going into counseling, and doing everything that you can to try to save your connection. So next to that, we have you're standing firm in your thoughts, feelings, or opinions. Can cause arguments. And that is because at the end of July, there are certain transits, especially the Mars and Virgo transit, and all of the transits happening with Leo, that can make it so that, again, things are finally working out for you, but it's requiring your work. It's requiring your effort, whether it be relationships or whether it be your literal career. Things are finally pivoting in the way that you want them to, but as I said, that you need that extra power in order to make them happen. And so you're on fire, and that's good, but it can also make it so that you're a bit argumentative because you have your ideas and your thoughts and your opinions are very set, and you want to see them come into fruition, and you are not being the docile behind the scenes Capricorn. You are being the I am here, I am present, this is what I feel, this is what I want, this is what I'm going to do. And everything in the universe is kind of backing you up. So arguments may be a thing. I would say I kind of mentioned it in your general reading, try to soften yourself a little bit, try to remain open. As I always say, listen more than you speak. It's the wisest thing that you can do, all right? And that's mostly toward the end of July. The 17th, there's a new alliance. Be aware of false promises when Venus goes into retrograde. But the 17th, because of, I believe the 17th is when the Cancer new moon happens. So new alliance, new connection, the stabilization of a relationship. As I was saying, if you are dating someone, there is a lot going on in terms of revelations, clarity in terms of relationships. So it could be, as I said, a contract, a business partner, a new job, or it can be a romantic relationship coming into formation. You have a full idea of how this person feels about you and where it is that you guys want to go. The good thing is that is before the retrograde. The 17th is at the beginning of that week of the retrograde, actually. So if you did want to stabilize at that time, that would make sense. And then you're going to dive a little bit deeper not long after. Next, we have you are breaking and ending huge generational and habitual karmic issues with relationships and your sexuality as well. I'm going to go a little bit deeper into sexuality in a second. July does not have to be difficult, but it is healing. Focus on listening with Mars and Leo, and as I was saying, because conflicts can come arise. Leo is a fighting sign, and you tend to be a little bit more on the intellectual side and know how to transmute chaotic energy. And so the good thing is you have the power to add water to conflicts. Do not step into that mountain and say this is how it's going to be and this is what I want, because people will challenge you because of your natural sense of authority. People love to challenge Capricorn because Capricorn has that authoritative energy, whether you want it or not, or whether you're trying to showcase it or stand within it. It's something that you give off. So if there is a fight afoot, people are going to want to make you the target for it, even if it doesn't necessarily make sense for you. Okay, so try to add water to the conflict and be the peacemaker that you are, because you tend to be one of the most mature people in the room, right? But everyone wants to be seen and heard. New moon, bringing beautiful harmony, leveling up in relationships right before Venus goes retrograde in Leo. Things get deep, honestly. Communication is key. Yes, honoring your deepest feelings. Next 4 months, the focus on emotional stability, strong focus on healthy relationships that serve you, and people coming back from the past. Yes. So, I hate to repeat myself, I'm sorry. But yeah, so your emotional stability and relationships that serve your highest good are going to be your biggest focus, especially, they already are. You're already kind of going through that, whether you want to or not, because I know that Capricorn is going through a strong focus on career right now and finances in particular, but relationships are circling around you. They're like, it's like if you're trying to focus here on this glass, right? Around this glass, you're going for a drink, and around you is all of these piranhas kind of waiting for you to take this sip, right? And it's not necessarily to say that love is a negative thing. It's just they are around. So you have to be hyper aware. If the relationships do not serve, you're being forced to be hyper aware of the ones that do not. Getting rid of friends that do not wish you well, having to face family relationships that are not healthy. People are showing themselves to you, they are revealing themselves to you. And if you are not listening, then you might be one of the Capricorns that feels quite overwhelmed right now because you're trying to balance your practical and financial life. Well, it seems like everyone's trying to pull you into something when it comes to this more emotional side, this more strained relationship side. Exes as well, it seems like people are trying to distract you, but really it's the universe's way of getting you to understand that these people themselves were always distractions, and you need to learn how to cut off and disconnect from anything that does not serve your highest good. And when the new moon comes into Cancer, you are going to be very, very aware of what serves your highest good. And it's a very harmonious feeling. You're going to be, although Cancer is your opposite, you're going to be feeling really at peace and balanced with yourself. And it is a deep moon, obviously, because it is a water moon, but you're going to be so aware of what makes you feel good and who makes you feel good. And you're going to want to give to them. You're going to want to give to that feeling within yourself, because it starts within you, and then you're going to start to give to those that actually deserve it. I've seen countless Capricorns, especially recently, disconnect from the healthier connections that they have and give to the unhealthy ones. And a part of it is because you have this hard work, ambitious mindset, and that ambitious mindset can make it so that you can try to revive that which is dead. You can sometimes try too hard to work on something that is never going to work or is not healthy for you. But the reason why is because you see potential in all of things, and you have done a lot of work on yourself. And so you tend to believe in people because you had to believe in yourself. You look at people like anything can be transformed because you have had to transform yourself. And you're so nurturing, and you're so honorable in that sense of the love that you can give and how steadfast it is and how ongoing it is. But you have to understand when you're beating a dead horse and when people will not change, because then they can turn to you and kind of look at you like you're trying to control them, or that you do not accept them as they are, because in a lot of ways you don't, I'm sorry, you are seeing them based on the potential that you want them to have, when there are all of these other relationships that have potential and want to rise to meet it, right? So you have to kind of go within yourself and ask yourself, are you investing in something that does not have a good return on investment? ROI, that is the key when it comes to relationships. Does it give you a solid return? And the same thing you're going through with your finances right now. All of what you're doing with your money is being reworked, and there's a lot of strain pertaining to finances. And the reason why is because you're having to learn yourself as a financial body beyond the idea of hard work, beyond the idea of I do A and it brings me to B. You're having to go deep within yourself and understand that you're deserving of that financial profile before you even step out the door. Before the work actually happens, it's within you. It is you. And the same thing you're going through when it comes to love. If you have to try that hard for it, it's not meant for you. Those who are meant for you will show up and show you that they're meant for you. They will, without you having to be the smartest person in the room, the wealthiest person in the room, the strongest person in the room. If it's love relationship, this person will just want you. They will just want you. They will see the same potential in you that you have seen in others. They will just want to be around you, just like your energy. They will not force and or push very many things from you. It's just a natural connection. And you're learning how to honor those things because you didn't really know how to do it before. You would force things because that hard work mindset, that desire to transform, that desire to nurture, that desire to heal, that has been misplaced for a very long time because you thought that it was supposed to go this way when you were in the dark. Now that you've transitioned yourself into the light, you're learning that what it is that you want to change in people is their brokenness. What it is that you want to lead in others is you want to lead them to their light. When you're saying that this person has potential, what you're saying is I want to see this person rise to a higher occasion of themselves. That is a very beautiful thing. It's a very beautiful thing, and the mindset that you have is absolutely lovely, but you need to give it to those that give back to you. Returns on your investment. And that is what July is all about. So as I said, many of you are either going through the subconscious side of it, which is memories, torturous and difficult memories, things that are triggering your ego, triggering your hurt, your pain, your self-esteem, but rescuing yourself from it and understanding that you are not the same person that you were when that person abused you or when that difficult thing happened, and you are not a product of what other people say that you are or other people's perceptions of you. Many of you are now, especially after that full moon, are really feeling yourselves. You know, you're learning yourself. You're really loving yourself and honoring yourself. And one of the biggest things that comes from that is disconnecting from everybody else's opinions of you. What they think of you, how they see you, how they take you in, does not matter. And I say it all the time because it is the truth. Anyone that invests more in you than they do in themselves tells you everything that you need to know about them. People that are more invested in other people's lives than their own says more about them than it does about you. Your life is your own, and your attention paying to your own life says that you know where to invest your energy. If there's anyone around you bullying you or overly invested in what you have going on, creating some kind of competition with you, or just being overall nosy, it helps you understand everything about that person, because that person being overly invested in you means that they have no real investment in themselves. And so it's not something to feel pain about, because I know that with you guys, reputation is really important to you. Privacy is also really important to you. And oftentimes people have used those things as ammo against you. But the thing that you have to understand is no one else's opinions or perceptions hold weight over who it is that you naturally are. And the more you stand in your own vibration as you are and disconnect, right, and focus on what makes you feel the most happy or the most at peace with yourself, then that is what's going to bring you to your truest success, especially in love, right? Not letting the world tell you who it is that you should love and how that person should look or what it is that they should do or how it should be. For some of you who have recently gone through widowing or the loss of a partner that maybe wasn't the healthiest to you, no one can tell you that it's not time for you to move on. If you are ready to invest in a relationship with someone who just came from the sky and absolutely is able to give you the love that you deserve, do not let anyone else's opinion shape that. Don't let anyone else's opinion shape you at all. And as I was saying, yes, many of you are going to be closing out some pivotal relationships, family, love, work relationships, leaving jobs, etc. during this month. And the difference is this time, you are empowered when doing so. Even if you don't necessarily know what's on the other side, you're empowered when doing so because you are fully aware of yourself and you're fully aware of your essence and your energy and your vitality and the things that make you beautifully and authentically you. Okay, so we're going to get into the reading. So hi Capricorn, and we are back. Let's get the subject matter for what is going on. Oh, wow. Alright. Can't ignore that. That was pretty loud. Subject matter for your love and relationships. That is with your romance. So let's get the subject matter for what is going on with your family. And your career relationship. Ooh. Again, the career is so loud nowadays. Like, it's so loud. shadow with the career. Ooh, Page of Cups, that's nice. Not necessarily, because I guess it is in the shadow aspect. He's struggling with optimism. Optimism and idealism is generally what Page of Cups. So let's start with career since it's the loudest one. So in your career relationships, the subject we've got going on here is the Six of Cups with the Five of Wands in reverse, clarified by the Chaser in the codependent relationship. In the shadow, we've got the High Priestess in reverse. We've got inner trust as the advice. Again, double inner trust in your career reading. You got inner trust as well. And your healing point here is one of my favorites, and it is about embracing the feminine energy, especially as a master point of creation. So when it comes to your relationships going on with your, and also a double confirmation on the Page of Cups in your shadow for your career. So your career relationships, you're dealing with a lot of nostalgia. The good thing is the fighting is coming to a close. Fighting is coming to an end. But again, there's something about the past and feelings of abandonment, fear. You're feeling like you cannot trust your intuition in terms of what it is that's going on. You're feeling quite negative in what it is that you're trying to do, or the relationships you're trying to form. You feel like you can't trust anyone. You feel as if though your colleagues or your coworkers, you're worried about your relationships with these people. You're worried about the trust that you have going on with these people. And you also don't want to feel abandoned by them, or like you're having to chase them, or like you don't want to feel the way that you felt in the past, where you felt as if though you maybe weren't enough, or that you weren't enough, you weren't doing enough. But your healing comes from the divine feminine. And I'll read this one for you so you understand what I'm saying. But your healing point is all about that creative divinity. So there's a magicianship and a magic seduction about you, and that is actually how you should be relating to people when it comes to your career sector. It's going deep within the divine feminine and trusting in the divine feminine allure. And this also, again, applies to males as well, especially when you're a seagoat, because we are a feminine sign. Really lean into your seductive, creative, elusive energy when it comes to your career relationships. And that is where your place of power is going to be, because the issue is that you're feeling as if though you are the chaser. You are running behind your colleagues. You're running behind these situations that you're in because you're trying to avoid conflict. You don't want to repeat the past. You don't want to feel like how you felt in the past, and you're scared because you're not trusting your intuition, especially when you want to talk about the divine feminine energy, the divine feminine creator energy, high priestess energy. So the true feminine magician is the high priestess, and for you it's in reverse. Your advice is to trust yourself. So in your career relationships, things are working out for you. It's you that is struggling with negative thinking, not trusting in your intuition. So I'll read this here for you. Your biology and gender are creative and powerful means for you to express your soul path. Sometimes you may feel limited by gender constraints or stereotypes, but your spirit can never be restricted or controlled. Embrace the journey of what it feels like to be you in your body. There is much benefit and healing to be gained through an embrace of your life journey, including the deeper experience of the absolute freedom of the spirit. Align with that deep, go within that part of you that you know is what I like to call the seagoat's secret. That space of creativity, mysticism, allure. Go within that space and attract people to you. Attract the relationships that you want. You're in your own space of fear. You're not trusting yourself. You're having negative thinking. Release all of that. You're not going to repeat the past. There is no fight here. You don't have to repeat the past. You're not in the past. This is not what it used to be. You're not the same person. You're much more powerful now than you've ever been. And you're powerful in this energy. You don't have to be in your masculine energy in order to exude power. This is so much more powerful because it's pulling people into you. It's pulling in the alignment. It's pulling in the experience. You are creating. You're pulling all of the strings in a quiet and silent way, in a seductive and authentic way. So there aren't any, this is not an obstacle in your career. It is you that needs to break out of the fear of the obstacle. Okay? So in your love life, we've got the King of Cups is the subject, with codependent obsession, block, restraint, clarifying it. We've got the Ten of Wands in reverse as the shadow, and against the grain is your advice, and your spiritual guidance is Beta Spirit Wolf. So that's saying a lot. So we've got the King of Cups here going on with the subject in your love life. So emotions, emotional control, and emotional offer. This is a very intense conversation when it comes to what's going on with your love life. But here it's clarified by codependent obsession, block, restraint, emotional control with feeling. I want to get some clarity on that. Emotional control with feeling as if though you're blocked, or you're attached to, or you're putting down the burden. You're afraid to put down the burden in love. You're afraid to do something different. The Beta of Spirit Wolf is all about you relaxing. And in order to find your way, in order to be focused and clear-minded, you need to relax from being so wound up. We've got the King of Swords here. Relax from being so wound up. Do something different. Swim away. There's a lot of fear going on with you when it comes to what's going on inside. And really, you're the only one carrying the weight of those swords. Knight of Cups. Three of Wands. Okay, so in terms of the clarity on this addiction card, we've got it with the King of Swords. So the King of Cups, the King of Swords, Three of Wands in reverse with the Knight of Cups. Double confirmation on Cups. I think that what is going on with you guys is there's a lot going on with you emotionally in terms of your fears. You're afraid to put down the burden of whatever you've experienced in love, but love is here. I mean, there's clearly a lot of emotion going on the table. And it's not about you moving on. It's not about you doing something different. Your ships have already, it could be that your ships are already here. There's already a love offer here, but it's about the way that you're seeing it. It's the clarity that you need to have in your own mind about what's going on with your love life. There's a lot of emotion. A lot of emotion, a lot of clarity, a lot of conversation, a lot of emotional conversations. But still you're feeling blocked and restrained because you're afraid to put down those wands. And you're worried that you can't put down those wands. Give yourself enough rest. Only then will you be able to ground yourself enough to cultivate focus and motivation to fulfill your path. You will find a way through any tricky situation as you tune into your instincts and trust your own timing. From times of change and uncertainty comes confidence, love, and resilience. Embrace transition, commit to your tasks, and stay focused, but be flexible in your approach. You have the skill and intuitively handle any issue. Against the grain is the advice. There's so much water here. Look at this. Water. More water. King of Cups. More water. Right? You have to do something differently. You have to relax, allow, create. Whatever block it is, the block that you're running into is your own fears. Your own fear, your own worry when it comes to love. There's so much here. There's so much going on, but you feel like you can't trust it. You're afraid of it. You have to stop the pattern because the relationship is evolving. The relationship is expanding to something completely different. It is you who has to let go of what it is that once was. So similar to what's going on in your career, you're healing from a lot of toxic stuff in the past. All right, so it could be toxic relationships from the past, toxic work relationships from the past, but things have you feeling as if though you cannot trust yourself and you cannot trust these new offers. When it comes to love, there is so much love here. There's so much to be created here and generated here, but it comes from you. You have to heal and swim out of whatever space it is that you're used to being in, whatever hurt it is that you've been carrying. You have to, I was going to say push, but push is not the word. It's literally swim out of it. It's heal out of it in order to embrace this new love it feels like it's already here for a lot of you. And if it hasn't already happened, you're going to meet this person very soon, probably in July. And it's here to heal you. It's here to expand you and to stop the pain of what it is that you have experienced in the past, the block, the restraint, the worry, the pain. You don't have to be wound up. You don't have to be afraid. You can trust your instincts. There's a lot of emotion here, and it's truthful, and it's honest emotion. It's genuine emotion. Your love life this month is all about breaking yourself free. You saying to yourself that you are ready to not be wounded anymore. And I'm sorry, it's not the 10 of Wands, it's the 9 of Wands. It's the 9 of Wands in reverse. You're ready to not be the wounded warrior anymore. You've gone through so much at this point. But you have to believe that within yourself. You have to allow the water to come in. The King of Cups, the Knight of Cups, whatever love is here, it's something that you can trust. The ships are not anywhere else, they're already with you. Okay, when it comes to your family relationships, the subject here is the strength with perception, faith in the process. 10 of Wands in reverse is the shadow, and then number 3 here going on with your healing point. So when it comes to your family relationships, it seems as if though that burden is the one that is the most troublesome. When it comes to your career, there's already healing here. You have to let it in. You have to embrace it. You have to evolve into who it is that you naturally are. When it comes to love, same thing. The pain of the past is no longer. And you have to allow yourself to bring the water in. Bring in that sea goat energy. All of this is to no surprise. It's all about embracing this new you, that new the emotional body merger with the stronger version of yourself, the magician, the true creator in that respect. The healing is what's going to bring forth your love life the way that you want it to be. You stop the pattern. You're no longer wounded. But when it comes to family, family is the one place where you are not in control here. Whatever burdens you're dealing with when it comes to your family, you just have to stick it out. You want to put down these burdens, but they don't seem like they want to be put down. And really, you just got to stay strong through it. Stay strong through it. Control your perception of it. Some of you might be dealing with a lot of conflict, a lot of family fighting, a lot of family bickering. There's a lot of generational stuff going on with you in general. Venus is in Leo, so there's no. I'm not surprised in terms of how deep this love message is and how transformational this career message is, because Leo is here to clean out your closet. But when it comes to family, obviously, family doesn't always change. So for you, it's time to endure. You're enduring, and most importantly, you're changing your perception. So it's not necessarily sitting around and allowing the same things. It's faith in the process that these burdens will be put down, but it's not necessarily because you are changing the relationships. And I wouldn't suggest to do so in the first place. I would not suggest to put yourself in the position to even actively try. What you need to do is just change the way that you view the situation, not be afraid to detach from the situation, and have full faith as you navigate through it. Just get out of it. When it comes to the family conflicts, focus on getting out and controlling the way you see yourself and the way you see the situation so you can evolve beyond it. It's not like what's going on with love where it's in your own hands and it's for you to heal and it's for you to be clear and it's for you to create this new beginning, or what's going on in your career where it's time for you to trust that the past will not repeat itself and you are the I just want to say like the seductive magician in this sense where you can approach it differently and have control over the new narrative. With family, that's not what's going on. It really is, especially with faith being, faith in the process being here. This burden is here, and the way that it is, it's going to be what it is, and it's meant to help you because it's meant to, you're going through this difficulty when it comes to your family because you're meant to change your perception of self and break the generational curse by evolving through it, okay? And you just have to, as stressful and as difficult and as painful as it might be, again, some of you, it could be literal, and for others of you, it could be subconscious. It could be memories of going through these things and kind of rescuing yourself from the past or rescuing yourself from the kind of strained relationships that you had, because what is happening is you're remembering times of bullying so that you can evolve into your current moment and realize how empowered and how powerful you are. You are remembering abandonment so that you can fill your cup now in this moment. And if you're dealing with a more literal, difficult family relationship, it's here to get you to move out of that situation, to take yourself out of the toxic dynamic and to want more for yourself. And it's staying strong through it, staying steady through it, and controlling your mind. Especially if you can't literally separate or you can't literally get out of it, it's controlling the way that you experience it and the way that you see it. And that is where your growth is going to come from. Do not turn away from your path nor from what you know to be true in your heart. No matter what appears to be, nor what logic may dictate, trust what your heart is telling you. You are safe and protected by spirit. You are spiritually empowered with all you need to manifest your authentic soul path. You have what it takes to connect with the light and live that connection in practical ways which contribute positive energy to the human collective. Again, so no matter what appears to be around you, trust in your perception of self. Trust in your perception of self. Do not allow your perception to be distorted. Do not allow any of these situations or any of these people to rupture what it is that you know of yourself. When you think of the strength card, it's staying steady. There's one thing you know how to do, it's be strong. It's put your feet on the ground, and no matter, like I keep saying, no matter how the wind howls, the mountain will not bow. When it comes to your family relationships, it's about knowing, and it's not staying steady as in sitting there and allowing abuse or allowing whatever things to get into you or affect you. It's more like you're channeling, again, bringing the water. You're channeling that energy and you're transcending it, because you're very clear on who you are no matter what anyone says to you. You're clear on who you are no matter what the let's say the memories or the experiences that you're dealing with, or it could just be the generational curse of like addiction or whatever it may be. You are who you are, and you know who you are, and you're staying steady within yourself without apology, okay? And holding on to that strength. And that is where your power will come from when it comes to the remainder of the month. But keep in mind, it's generational and it's karmic, but it's meant to end, okay? And you're learning all of the things that you're learning. You're going through it in order to learn so that you can expand and grow, okay? So I love you. We will check back in on all of this energy for the Cancer new moon. All right. Ciao.